these are some things that people might not really tell you about when they ask about what it's like to be lonely and things like that. The more I think about it, the more I realize that when you let your brain adapt to certain things that are happening in your life, as far as being alone, you end up completely forgetting what it feels like to be lonely, which is entirely different from being alone, by the way. But you just stop thinking that. You don't ever think to yourself, I feel so lonely right now. No, you get used to the feeling of being just alone. Like, when you're isolated a lot, you just get used to it over time. And I realized that that is one of the only good things about just being less social, is the fact that you don't ever feel lonely anymore. You don't feel lonely for just, just being away from people for longer than the average person. You don't ever feel that. What you do feel, which I really don't like, but this is just what happens, is that you end up getting really self-aware of how you're living. Like, you get really judgmental of yourself when you just spend so much time on your own. You have so much free time to do whatever you want to do. And you end up just judging yourself a lot because you don't see other people that much because you're, isolating yourself, and you get I don't know how to explain it. You get over comfortable with yourself. It's a really strange idea, but the only person you're really seeing if you're isolating yourself is yourself. So for most of the time, at least for me personally, I just imagine things in my head so often. Like, I imagine having conversations with people and they're not actually there, but I'm thinking about it. It's really strange. Like, I have fake scenarios playing in my head all the time, 100% more than the average person would, for sure. And I can kind of read a room really good now. Whenever I am in a room filled with people, I can for sure tell who doesn't want to be there, or who's nervous, or someone with anxiety. I can tell because people who have anxiety, they have that certain kind of thing to them, They're usually spaced out when they're in an area that's not their comfort place, right? They're usually spaced out looking at something. That's what I do, actually. I'm always spacing out, just looking somewhere. I don't even know where, but I'm spacing out. That, or they're very fidgety. That's what I've noticed. People with anxiety are really fidgety. They want to be doing something. Like, they don't want to be there, but they don't want to just sit still and do nothing. So they're usually doing something with their hands, or that's another thing. They're on their phones, trying to just escape the reality that they're in. And I would like to believe that anxiety, being anxious, and nervousness, that definitely all comes from being alone for too long. Your brain craves the activity of having a conversation with someone. Like, it craves to be social. Like, you need that social aspect to your life. And when you don't have that, you tend to be, I don't know what word to use for this. Like, you tend to be a little more, special. Like, you see things that other people probably don't. I sound so crazy right now, but I for sure see things in the social aspect that an extrovert would not see at all. They wouldn't notice. They're too busy, talking. But when you're just quiet and you're sitting there, you can really see just how people are. Like, I can tell when someone walks in a room if they are gonna end up just talking to people, or they're ready to just go walk to the corner, right? Like, walk to the corner and just get on their phone or whatever. I can tell immediately by their face and by their posture and how they're walking. When you spend so much time with yourself, you can see certain parts of yourself in other people. Like, you know what they're gonna do, because I've done that myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that guy's doing. He's pulling out his phone because there's no one to talk to, right? You don't want to go up to some random person you don't know. That is one of the most stressful things. when you're alone for too long, it makes it really difficult to connect with other people. Like when you want to make friends, it is not a straight path. It's not simple to do that when you're like socially isolated. Some people, including myself, overthink just leaving the house to go do something, right? That used to be me for a long time. Like I would be so stressed over having to go to a doctor's appointment or something, you know? The best way to put it is when I know I have to be somewhere in the afternoon, I'm like in waiting mode. I'm in waiting mode until I have to go do that thing. Only once I get back from whatever I have to do, that's when I can relax. That kind of stress is, I would for sure not be like that if I had gone to a normal school for all of my high school experience, but I was homeschooled, so that's why I was so like isolated, was because of homeschool. It's really weird to talk more about these things because I get so many people commenting on my videos about this specific topic of being alone. I got so many people relating to that, and I'm glad I was able to make videos like that so people can relate to it. I love doing that. It's one of my passions to record like this. This is the most you'll ever see me talking. Like if someone knew me and knew I was making these videos, they'd be like, wow, you talk so much. I don't talk like this at all, like in person. Like I'm usually quiet. This is me just expressing all of my thoughts. Instead of writing it down, I'm just going out on the video. So stay positive, everyone.